Shut up and get lost. You're embarrassing yourself. Dr. Harrison Blackwell shoves his hand toward Keisha's face, pushing her backward while shielding his laptop screen. Coffee spills across her uniform as she stumbles. The entire restaurant falls silent. Blackwell's voice cuts through the air like a blade. This is a $500 million deal, not some ghetto math class. Know your place. But Keisha's eyes have already caught the fatal error blazing on his screen. Her MIT-trained mind sees it instantly, a miscalculation that will destroy everything he's worked for. That's the wrong formula, she whispers. Blackwell's face turns crimson. He stands up, towering over her soaked uniform. Did this waitress just try to school me on mathematics? I have degrees from Harvard and Princeton. You probably can't even spell calculus. Within the next 8 minutes, one mathematical equation will flip their entire world upside down. But first, you need to understand exactly what Keisha saw that could save or destroy $500 million. The Grandview Hotel sits in the heart of Manhattan's financial district, where billion-dollar deals are discussed over $30 stakes. Tonight, its private conference center hosts the biggest acquisition meeting of the year, Meridian Capital's potential $500 million purchase of quantum computing startup Neuralink Technologies. Keisha Thompson has worked these halls for 2 years, invisible to the power brokers who shape global markets. She knows their habits, their voices, their casual arrogance. What they don't know is that she spent 4 years at MIT studying financial mathematics before student debt forced her to drop out. Dr. Harrison Blackwell commands the room like a financial general. 25 years of successful deals, a track record that speaks for itself, and the unwavering confidence of someone who's never been wrong about a major acquisition. His risk assessment models have saved Meridian Capital from 3 catastrophic investments in the past decade. Elena Vasquez, Meridian's CEO, relies on his expertise completely. She built her career on identifying talent and making tough decisions, but Blackwell's mathematical brilliance remains her secret weapon. Tomorrow's board presentation will determine if they proceed with the Neuralink deal or walk away from quantum computing entirely. The conference room buzzes with nervous energy. Junior analysts shuffle through data packets while senior partners debate market timing. Everyone knows the stakes. Quantum computing represents the next technological revolution, but investing too early could bankrupt the company. Keisha refills water glasses, her uniform marking her as help. A security guard follows her movements, ensuring she doesn't linger near sensitive documents. The message is clear. People like her don't belong in rooms like this. Finally figured out diversity hiring. One analyst jokes loudly, assuming Keisha can't understand corporate terminology. Just stick them in service positions where they can't do any real damage. His colleague nods approvingly. Exactly. Let them feel included without actually including them in anything important. Keisha's jaw tightens, but she continues her work silently. She needs this job desperately. Her mother's medical bills pile up weekly, her student loans demand payment, and her MIT dreams seem further away each night. But as she moves through the room, her mathematical mind processes everything. Stock projections, market analyses, risk calculations, patterns emerge that others miss. Her training never left her, even if her degree did. The real power structure becomes clear as the evening progresses. Blackwell holds court at the center table, his laptop displaying complex formulas that will determine Neuralink's fate. Elena defers to his expertise consistently, while junior staff hang on his every word. Quantum computing follows predictable market patterns, Blackwell explains confidently to a circle of admirers. My models account for every variable. Technology adoption rates, competitor responses, regulatory changes. There's no mystery here, just mathematics. The irony cuts deep. The man dismissing her intelligence has built his reputation on the same mathematical principles she studied at one of the world's most prestigious institutions. But in this room, her knowledge means nothing because of the uniform she wears. Elena occasionally glances at Keisha with something approaching kindness, but even she sees only a hard-working waitress, not a mathematical genius serving coffee. The system works perfectly. Talent remains invisible when it appears in unexpected packages. As midnight approaches, the final presentations begin. Tomorrow's board meeting will be live-streamed to investors worldwide, with billions in market valuation hanging in the balance. Blackwell's risk assessment shows a 94% probability of success within 18 months. But Keisha has spotted the fatal flaw. His formula treats quantum computing breakthroughs like traditional technology advances. Linear, predictable, manageable. The reality is exponentially different. Quantum systems don't improve incrementally. They revolutionize entire industries overnight. Her MIT professors had drilled this distinction into every student. Quantum advantage creates winner-take-all scenarios that traditional models can't capture. Blackwell's mathematics are perfect for a world that stopped innovating in 2015. The conference room represents everything wrong with how genius gets recognized in America. Brilliant minds are dismissed because they don't fit preconceived notions of what expertise looks like. Meanwhile, credentialed incompetence makes billion-dollar mistakes while congratulating itself on superior intelligence. Keisha knows speaking up could cost her everything. Challenging Blackwell means questioning the entire power structure that keeps people like her in service positions. But staying silent means watching a mathematical disaster unfold in real time. The night shift ends in 6 hours. The board votes in 18. And somewhere in that narrow window, a waitress with an incomplete MIT degree holds the key to saving or destroying the biggest quantum computing deal in corporate history. What happens when the person everyone ignores knows more than the person everyone trusts? The clock strikes 1:15 a.m. as Keisha approaches Blackwell's table with fresh coffee. The conference room has thinned out, leaving only the core decision-makers hunched over laptops and financial projections. Elena leans forward, studying Blackwell's risk assessment model displayed prominently on his screen. "Walk me through the quantum breakthrough probability one more time, Harrison. The board will want specifics." Blackwell's confidence radiates as he points to his formula. "Simple mathematics, Elena. I'm calculating quantum advancement using standard technology adoption curves. Based on historical data, we're looking at steady, predictable progress over 18 months. Keisha's hand trembles slightly as she pours coffee. The error blazes from his screen like a mathematical emergency beacon. He's treating quantum computing like smartphone upgrades, incremental improvements on a linear timeline. But quantum systems operate on exponential curves that can trigger overnight industry revolutions. "The numbers are rock solid," Blackwell continues, unaware of Keisha's presence. 94% probability of ROI within our target window. Conservative estimates put our return at $250 million minimum. Elena nods approvingly. "That matches our investment thesis perfectly. Quantum computing represents the future, but we need certainty about timing." Keisha sets down the coffee pot, her MIT training screaming warnings. His model would have missed Google's 2019 quantum supremacy breakthrough by 3 years. It can't account for the cascade effects when multiple research teams achieve breakthroughs simultaneously. "Elena, if I may..." Blackwell gestures toward his whiteboard, preparing to write out his formula for final review. "Let me show you exactly why this deal represents minimal risk. This is the moment." Keisha can walk away, finish her shift, collect her paycheck, and watch $500 million evaporate when reality collides with flawed mathematics. Or she can risk everything to speak truth to power. "Actually," Keisha's voice cuts through the room like a blade, "that formula has a fundamental error." Complete silence. Elena's eyebrows arch in surprise. Blackwell's marker freezes inches from the whiteboard. The remaining analysts stop typing and stare. "Excuse me?" Blackwell's voice carries dangerous undertones. "Did our waitress just attempt to correct my financial modeling?" Keisha's heart pounds, but her voice remains steady. "The beta coefficient for quantum computing volatility. You're treating breakthrough probability like traditional technology adoption, but quantum systems scale exponentially, not linearly." The room erupts in uncomfortable murmurs. A junior analyst whispers something about inappropriate interruptions. The security guard moves closer, unsure whether to intervene. Blackwell's face darkens. "Young lady, I've been conducting mathematical analysis since before you were born. Unless you happen to possess advanced degrees in financial mathematics, which I seriously doubt, I suggest you return to coffee service immediately." The challenge hangs in the air like a loaded weapon. Keisha knows this moment will define everything that follows. Speaking her credentials means admitting she's been hiding her true capabilities. It means explaining why an MIT mathematics student is serving coffee at 1 a.m. MIT, incomplete PhD program, financial mathematics concentration. The words land like thunderbolts. Elena's eyes widened. Junior analysts exchanged shocked glances. Blackwell's confident expression cracked slightly. That's highly irregular, he sputters, recovering his composure. Even assuming that's true, academic theory differs significantly from practical application. I deal with real money and real consequences. Elena studies Keisha intently. Show us the error. The invitation terrifies and exhilarates simultaneously. Keisha approaches the whiteboard, knowing that her next words will either vindicate years of mathematical training or destroy any hope of career redemption. But as she picks up the marker, one thought crystallizes perfectly. The numbers don't lie, even when the people who write them refuse to listen. Will mathematical truth triumph over institutional prejudice, or will genius remain invisible behind a waitress uniform? Keisha approaches the whiteboard with steady hands, hyper-aware that every eye in the room tracks her movement. The marker feels foreign yet familiar. It's been 2 years since she's explained mathematics to anyone besides herself. Traditional risk models assume technology breakthroughs follow normal distribution curves. She begins, her voice gaining strength with each word. But quantum computing operates fundamentally differently. She draws 2 graphs side by side. The first shows a gentle upward slope. This is Dr. Blackwell's model, steady, predictable advancement over time, like smartphone processors getting incrementally faster each year. Blackwell crosses his arms defensively. That model has predicted technology adoption successfully for 2 decades. For traditional technology, yes. Keisha draws the second graph, a flat line that suddenly rockets skyward. But quantum computing breakthroughs don't add value incrementally. They multiply it exponentially. Each major advance doesn't just improve existing capabilities, it enables entirely new possibilities that were physically impossible before. Elena pulls out her phone, clearly fact-checking. The junior analysts lean forward, genuinely intrigued despite their discomfort. Consider Google's quantum supremacy announcement in 2019, Keisha continues, writing key dates on the whiteboard. Their quantum processor solved a specific calculation in 200 seconds that would take traditional supercomputers 10,000 years. That wasn't incremental improvement. That was a mathematical revolution overnight. She turns back to Blackwell's original formula, circling the problematic section. Your beta coefficient assumes quantum advancement follows semiconductor industry patterns, but quantum systems create cascade effects. When one breakthrough happens, it accelerates every other research team's timeline because the fundamental barriers have been proven solvable. Dr. Wu, Blackwell's lead quantitative analyst, starts running calculations on her tablet. The mathematical logic is sound, she admits reluctantly. If quantum breakthroughs trigger accelerated research across multiple institutions, exactly. Keisha modifies Blackwell's formula, showing the compound probability changes. When IBM announced their quantum error correction breakthrough 6 months ago, it didn't just advance IBM's timeline. It validated the entire research approach, causing massive acceleration across Google, Microsoft, university labs, and startup companies worldwide. The room falls silent as the implications sink in. Elena checks her phone again. My quantitative team is confirming your examples in real time. Keisha writes the corrected calculations. Dr. Blackwell's model predicts 94% success probability because it treats each quantum advance as isolated. But when you factor in cascade effects and exponential scaling, the actual probability drops to approximately 62%. That's a 32 percentage point difference, Elena breathes, on a $500 million investment. $160 million additional risk exposure, Keisha finishes. And that's conservative. If quantum advancement accelerates beyond current projections, the risk could double. Blackwell's confidence visibly wavers. He studies his laptop screen, double-checking calculations he's never questioned before. This is highly theoretical. Mathematical modeling requires years of specialized training and industry experience. You're absolutely right, Dr. Blackwell. Experience matters enormously. Keisha's voice carries quiet authority now. That's why I've been studying quantum computing developments during every break, serving coffee to researchers from Columbia, NYU, and Princeton every week. When you're invisible to people, you hear things they'd never discuss in formal presentations. She points to her corrected formula. Last month, I served dinner to Dr. Sarah Carter from MIT's Quantum Lab. She mentioned their error correction breakthrough happened 3 months ahead of schedule because IBM's research eliminated their primary theoretical barrier. That's not reflected in any public timeline, but it's exactly the cascade effect your model can't capture. Elena's phone buzzes with an incoming message. She reads it, then looks up with growing amazement. My external validation team just confirmed. Your quantum breakthrough timeline predictions match classified industry intelligence we pay $50,000 annually to access. The junior analyst who earlier joked about diversity hiring sits in stunned silence. Dr. Wu continues running calculations, her expression shifting from skepticism to professional respect. The mathematical elegance is undeniable, Dr. Wu announces. Miss Thompson has identified a fundamental modeling flaw that our entire quantitative department missed. Blackwell straightens his tie, a nervous gesture Keisha has observed in other executives when their expertise gets challenged. Even if her mathematics are correct, we're dealing with broader market factors, regulatory approval, investor sentiment, competitive positioning, which makes the quantum cascade effect even more dangerous, Keisha responds smoothly. When breakthrough announcements happen faster than traditional models predict, they trigger massive market volatility. Look at quantum computing stock prices after major announcements. 30 to 50% swings overnight because investors weren't prepared for the timeline acceleration. Elena stands up, pacing as she processes the implications. If you're right about this, we're not just looking at investment risk. We're looking at being caught completely off guard by an industry transformation that happens years earlier than expected. The mathematics don't lie, Keisha says simply. Quantum computing follows exponential probability curves, not linear adoption models. Every breakthrough makes the next breakthrough more likely, not less. The hotel manager appears at the doorway, clearly confused by the unusual energy emanating from what should be a routine late-night business meeting. Several kitchen staff gather at respectful distances, sensing their colleague has somehow become the center of extraordinary attention. Blackwell closes his laptop slowly, the gesture carrying symbolic weight. This is the most sophisticated mathematical challenge to my methodology I've encountered in 25 years. Elena makes a decision that will change everything. Keisha, would you be willing to present a complete alternative risk assessment to our board tomorrow morning? If your analysis is correct, you might have just saved us from the most expensive mistake in company history. But has she really won, or has she just painted an even bigger target on her back? Elena's offer hangs in the air like an ultimatum, present to the board of directors, billionaire investors who could end careers with a single phone call. Keisha realizes the stakes have exploded beyond anything she imagined when she whispered about the wrong formula. Elena, with all due respect, this is highly irregular, Blackwell interjects, his composure cracking. We have protocols, liability issues, confidentiality agreements. The board expects vetted analysis from credentialed professionals, not... Not what, Harrison? Elena's voice carries steel. Not mathematical accuracy. Because your model was wrong, significantly wrong. The conference room door opens, admitting 3 new faces that make Keisha's stomach drop. Richard Sterling, senior partner and Blackwell's mentor, sweeps in wearing a $5,000 suit despite the late hour. Behind him, Dr. Jennifer Wu, head of quantitative analysis, carries a tablet loaded with verification software. Michael Harrison III, trust fund analyst and company legacy hire, smirks like he's about to witness gladiatorial combat. Harrison called us, Sterling announces, his voice carrying old money authority. Apparently, we have a situation requiring immediate damage control. Elena stands her ground. We have a mathematical error requiring immediate correction. Dr. Wu approaches Keisha with clinical coldness. I'm here to verify your analysis. Any errors in your methodology will result in immediate legal action for securities fraud and industrial espionage. The rules have changed completely. What began as correcting a simple formula has evolved into defending her mathematical competence against Wall Street's most ruthless financial minds. Sterling studies Keisha like she's an interesting insect. Young lady, do you understand the liability exposure you've created for yourself? Making false claims about financial analysis to corporate executives constitutes multiple federal crimes. I haven't made any claims, Keisha responds calmly. I've identified mathematical errors. The numbers speak for themselves. Numbers interpreted by someone without proper credentials, without security clearance, without any understanding of market complexities. Michael Harrison III adds with entitled dismissiveness, "This is exactly why we maintain professional standards." Elena's decision cuts through the growing tension. She'll sign extensive NDAs and liability waivers tonight, full legal protection. Harrison, your model contained fundamental errors that could have cost us hundreds of millions. I need to know how fundamental before I stake my reputation on this deal. The new timeline makes Keisha's head spin. 18 hours to prepare a presentation for corporate titans who could destroy her life if they find her analysis lacking. 18 hours to prove that mathematical genius exists outside their privileged circles. But word spreads through the hotel's wealthy clientele like wildfire. By 2 a.m., a small crowd has gathered in the adjacent lounge. Hedge fund managers, venture capitalists, tech executives drawn by whispers about a mathematical genius waitress challenging Wall Street's most respected risk analyst. Sterling attempts damage control. This circus atmosphere is completely inappropriate for serious financial analysis. Then perhaps serious financial analysis shouldn't contain elementary mathematical errors, Elena shoots back. Dr. Wu presents Keisha with an intimidating stack of documents. You'll need access to proprietary databases that cost $50,000 monthly, real-time quantum patent filings, global semiconductor supply chains, university research publications. Grant her access, Elena orders without hesitation. Bill everything to my department. The social pressure cooker begins building immediately. Hotel staff whisper excitedly about their colleague challenging the financial elite. Kitchen crews start betting pools on whether Keisha can survive tomorrow's presentation. #Waitress Math Genius begins trending on social media as word leaks beyond the hotel walls. Michael Harrison III scrolls through Twitter feeds with growing alarm. This is becoming a public relations nightmare. We'll look like idiots regardless of the mathematical outcome. Only if we're wrong, Elena responds pointedly. The chain of many wins and many losses begins immediately. Keisha gains access to databases that confirm her hypothesis about quantum cascade effects. Sterling discovers potential flaws in her methodology around European market factors. Keisha corrects those flaws and strengthens her overall model. Dr. Wu threatens legal action for potential industrial espionage. Elena provides comprehensive legal immunity. But the real escalation comes when local financial media catch wind of the story. By 3 a.m., reporters gather outside the hotel, sensing a narrative that transcends mathematics. Hidden genius challenging institutional power, merit versus privilege, the American dream colliding with systemic barriers. This has spiraled completely out of control, Blackwell mutters, watching news vans arrive through the window. No, Keisha corrects him quietly. This is mathematical truth refusing to stay hidden any longer. Sterling makes one final attempt to contain the situation. Elena, if this analysis proves incorrect, the reputational damage to Meridian Capital will be catastrophic. We'll become a laughingstock in financial circles worldwide. Elena meets his gaze steadily. And if her analysis proves correct, we'll be known as the company smart enough to recognize genius wherever we find it. The hotel manager provides Keisha with a vacant conference room, understanding instinctively that he's witnessing something extraordinary. As she spreads mathematical papers across 3 tables, one question dominates every observer's mind. Can a waitress with an incomplete degree survive mathematical combat against Wall Street's most elite financial warriors? The clock reads 3:30 a.m. when Keisha transforms the vacant conference room into a mathematical war zone. Laptop screens glow with streaming data while financial papers carpet every available surface. Elena delivers industrial-grade coffee and protein bars, understanding that the next 14 hours will determine whether genius or prejudice prevails. Dr. Wu arrives with 2 graduate assistants, their expressions mixing skepticism with professional curiosity. We're here to verify every calculation you make. One error destroys your entire thesis. Keisha welcomes the scrutiny. Good. Mathematics works best under rigorous examination. She walks them through her enhanced quantum probability model, each step building inexorably toward a revolutionary conclusion. Traditional risk assessment treats breakthrough innovations like predictable clockwork. But quantum computing operates on cascade principles where each major advance accelerates every subsequent breakthrough. Your probability matrices are surprisingly sophisticated, Dr. Wu admits grudgingly after reviewing Keisha's methodology. Where did you learn advanced statistical modeling? MIT coursework, supplemented by 2 years of serving coffee to researchers who discuss their work assuming I can't understand it. Meanwhile, Sterling and Blackwell work frantically through the night, attempting to find fatal flaws in Keisha's approach. They discover she's factoring variables their traditional models never considered: global quantum research funding patterns, patent filing acceleration rates, academic publication timing correlations, semiconductor manufacturing bottlenecks that could trigger sudden breakthrough clusters. She's thinking 5 steps ahead of conventional analysis, Blackwell confesses to Sterling at 4:45 a.m. Her mathematical framework accounts for interdependencies we've been ignoring for years. The hotel staff quietly mobilizes in support. The night manager brings proper lighting equipment. The kitchen crew provides steady meals and encouragement. Housekeeping ensures absolute quiet. Security keeps growing crowds of curious onlookers at respectful distances. By 5:30 a.m., #Waitress Math Genius has exploded across every social platform. Financial journalists request interviews. Cable news networks debate whether the story represents inspiring social mobility or dangerous institutional disruption. But at 6:30 a.m., disaster strikes. Sterling discovers a glaring error in Keisha's European market analysis. Incorrect exchange rate calculations that undermine her entire international risk assessment. Her model collapses completely, Sterling announces triumphantly to the gathering crowd. Currency conversion errors invalidate 20% of her mathematical foundation. For 20 agonizing minutes, Keisha's revolutionary analysis appears fatally compromised. Dr. WU's assistants verify the currency mistake. Media reports begin emphasizing the danger of unqualified personnel making billion-dollar claims. But Keisha doesn't panic. She recalculates transparently, with Dr. Wu monitoring every keystroke. The correction actually strengthens her overall thesis by revealing additional risk factors traditional models miss entirely. You calculate faster than most of my PhD candidates, Dr. Wu observes with growing respect. At 8:15 a.m., unexpected allies emerge. 2 junior analysts from Blackwell's own team quietly approach Keisha's table, risking their careers by offering support. We've been fact-checking your work independently, the first admits nervously. You missed some supporting evidence that makes your case even stronger. European quantum startups are advancing faster than any public timeline indicates. They provide classified intelligence about breakthrough timelines that validate Keisha's cascade theory completely. Her mathematical framework doesn't just correct Blackwell's errors. It reveals systemic flaws in how the entire financial industry evaluates transformational technologies. Social media amplification reaches critical mass by 10 a.m. The story transcends mathematical accuracy to become a symbol of hidden talent demanding recognition. Financial influencers debate whether credentialed expertise can coexist with unconventional intelligence. Elena warns Keisha soberly, "Win or lose, your life changes permanently today. Are you prepared for that?" At 11:30 a.m., Blackwell presents his final challenge, a deliberately complex quantum probability scenario designed to expose the limits of Keisha's knowledge. He constructs an intricate mathematical puzzle involving multiple breakthrough scenarios, regulatory responses, and market timing variables. Keisha studies his challenge for 15 minutes before responding. She doesn't just solve his scenario, she identifies 3 fundamental flaws in how he constructed it and provides superior alternative approaches. Your scenario assumes quantum breakthroughs happen independently, she explains patiently. But cascade effects mean breakthrough clusters trigger massive market accelerations. Your regulatory response timeline ignores political pressure when transformational technologies threaten existing industries. Her solution demonstrates mathematical elegance combined with practical market understanding that surpasses anything Blackwell's team has produced. Dr. Wu officially signs off on Keisha's mathematics at 12:15 p.m. Her analytical framework represents the most innovative approach to quantum investment modeling I've encountered. She's identified variables we never considered and mathematical relationships we completely missed. The preparation phase culminates with Keisha creating a comprehensive presentation that not only corrects Blackwell's original risk assessment, but provides an entirely new framework for evaluating quantum technology investments. Her model accounts for cascade effects, breakthrough clustering, regulatory acceleration, and market volatility patterns that traditional analysis ignores. By 1 p.m., she's surrounded by pages of calculations that tell a compelling story. Hotel staff cheer quietly from doorways. Financial media gather outside in growing numbers. The weight of proving that genius emerges from unexpected places rests entirely on her mathematical shoulders. But Sterling makes one final attempt to undermine her credibility. Even if her mathematics are correct, she lacks institutional understanding. Financial markets involve psychology, politics, and relationships that can't be captured in equations, Elena responds decisively. Then explain why her model predicted 3 major quantum announcements our official analysis completely missed. The evidence becomes overwhelming. Keisha's approach doesn't just improve on traditional methods, it reveals how conventional analysis fails when dealing with exponential technological change. She's created mathematical tools that could transform how billions of investment dollars get allocated across emerging technology sectors. As the final hour approaches, Keisha sits calmly amid the mathematical storm she's created. 2 years of invisibility have prepared her for this moment perfectly. She understands exactly how smart, powerful people think because she's been serving them coffee while they discussed reshaping the world. The junior analyst who initially mocked diversity hiring approaches hesitantly. I owe you an apology. You and probably my job, since your analysis just proved our entire department has been using flawed methodology for years. Mathematics isn't personal, Keisha responds graciously. It's just the truth waiting to be recognized. The hotel manager appears with final updates. Miss Thompson, there are 17 news crews outside, 43 interview requests, and 6 job offers that arrived in the last hour alone. But the only question that matters remains unanswered. Will mathematical brilliance triumph over institutional prejudice when billions of dollars hang in the balance? At 1:30 p.m., just as Keisha puts finishing touches on her presentation, Elena bursts through the conference room door with devastating news. Her face carries the weight of corporate betrayal. The board moved up their vote. They're deciding in 30 minutes before your presentation. The room falls silent. 2 junior analysts stop typing mid-sentence. Dr. Wu looks up from her final verification calculations with genuine shock. That's impossible, Keisha breathes. The original timeline was, Sterling convinced them that your involvement represents a security breach. Elena interrupts, her voice tight with controlled fury. He's arguing that allowing unauthorized personnel access to confidential data sets a dangerous precedent regardless of your mathematical accuracy. The real manipulation becomes crystal clear when Blackwell enters the room wearing an expression of calculated satisfaction. Elena, I want you to understand. I never questioned her mathematics. The girl is obviously intelligent. He pauses for maximum impact. But this isn't about being right. It's about maintaining institutional integrity. We simply cannot establish precedent that allows waitresses to make $500 million investment decisions. The foundational assumption flips completely. The challenge was never about mathematical competence. It was about who gets heard in spaces of power. Keisha's correctness threatens the existing hierarchy more than Blackwell's error threatens the deal. Sterling's strategy becomes horrifyingly clear. By framing her involvement as a security violation, he's transformed mathematical accuracy into institutional insubordination. The board will vote to protect corporate protocols, not evaluate competing analyses. They're not afraid I'm wrong, Keisha realizes with stunning clarity. They're afraid I'm right, and that changes everything about who they have to listen to in the future. Dr. Wu sets down her tablet with visible disgust. This is intellectual cowardice disguised as corporate responsibility. Elena paces frantically, calculating political options. She could challenge the board directly, but that risks her own position and guarantees Keisha gets crushed in corporate warfare. She could accept defeat and protect whatever relationships remain salvageable. Or she could go nuclear. If the board won't hear your presentation, the investors will, Elena announces with dangerous determination. We're live streaming the mathematical comparison. Let them decide whose analysis they trust with their money. The stakes explode exponentially. Instead of convincing 12 board members, Keisha must now prove mathematical superiority to millions of global viewers. Her analysis will be dissected in real time by financial experts worldwide. Blackwell's confidence wavers. Elena, you're risking everything on an unproven methodology created by someone with no industry experience. I'm risking everything on mathematical truth, Elena shoots back. Something this industry seems to have forgotten exists. The new reality terrifies and exhilarates simultaneously. Keisha must now defend not just her calculations, but the entire principle that genius deserves recognition regardless of background. But can mathematical brilliance survive when the entire financial establishment mobilizes to protect its exclusive gatekeeping power? As camera technicians flood the conference room preparing for the global live stream, Keisha experiences her darkest moment. The magnitude crashes down like a financial avalanche. Millions watching worldwide, career-ending consequences for any mathematical error, potential federal charges for securities fraud if her analysis proves flawed. Her hands shake as she reviews presentation slides one final time. The exhaustion of 14 hours of intensive mathematical analysis combines with terror about what happens if she's wrong about quantum cascade effects. Then disaster strikes. Sterling, monitoring her presentation preparation with predatory intensity, identifies a catastrophic legal vulnerability. She referenced proprietary quantum algorithms in slides 12 through 15, intellectual property violations, corporate espionage charges. The blood drains from Keisha's face. In her exhaustion, she included quantum computing examples learned through overheard conversations, researchers discussing breakthrough details they assumed their waitress couldn't understand or remember. This is exactly why we maintain security protocols, Sterling continues with satisfaction. She's committed federal crimes while preparing to embarrass our institution globally. Blackwell, surprisingly, shows genuine concern. Elena, this could destroy her completely. Prison time, massive fines, permanent exclusion from financial industries. Maybe we should stop this before mathematical truth gets heard? Elena's voice carries steel, but her expression reveals growing worry. The legal reality becomes inescapable. Keisha must rebuild her entire presentation in 20 minutes, removing the proprietary examples that constitute her strongest evidence. Without those real-world validations, her mathematical model appears theoretical rather than practical. The humiliation deepens when she realizes how naive she's been. Sterling never intended to defeat her mathematics. He planned to destroy her credibility through legal technicalities. Her brilliance becomes irrelevant when corporate lawyers can criminalize her knowledge sources. At 1:50 p.m., Keisha sits alone in the hotel stairwell, still wearing her coffee-stained uniform, presentation materials scattered around her like the debris of shattered dreams. The weight of systemic barriers feels overwhelming. Why risk everything when the game is rigged to exclude people like her? Her phone buzzes with messages from fellow hotel workers. We believe in you. Show them what we're capable of. My daughter is watching the live stream. She wants to be a mathematician like you. Don't let them silence you. We see your genius even if they don't. The support from invisible people, housekeepers, kitchen staff, security guards, reminds her that this battle transcends personal vindication. Millions of brilliant minds remain hidden because institutional prejudice assumes intelligence only appears in expected packages. Elena finds her in the stairwell, sitting down beside her without corporate pretense. No motivational speech, just brutal honesty. 20 minutes ago, I was prepared to sacrifice you to save my position. I was wrong. Whatever happens next, at least one person in power won't make that mistake again. The confession provides unexpected clarity. Elena's support isn't about recognizing Keisha's genius. It's about Elena's own journey toward intellectual honesty. Keisha stands up, straightens her uniform, and makes a transformative decision. I'm not doing this to prove I belong in their world. I'm doing this to prove their world needs people like me. Instead of hiding her perspective as a waitress, she'll weaponize it. Her presentation will demonstrate how mathematical models fail when they ignore ground-level reality, the patterns visible to someone who serves the people making these decisions. The stakes crystallize perfectly. Personal. Keisha could lose everything, but she's already been systematically excluded from everything that matters. Professional, Blackwell faces the first serious challenge to his mathematical authority in 25 years. Systemic. Either merit matters regardless of background, or institutional gatekeeping determines who gets heard. At 1:58 p.m., Keisha walks back into the conference room transformed. Still in uniform, but wearing it like mathematical armor. Her presentation is half the length, but twice as powerful. "I'm ready," she announces to the camera crew. Elena addresses the global audience as the live stream begins. Today, we're comparing two approaches to financial risk assessment. The question isn't which analyst has better credentials. The question is which analysis will save or cost our investors $500 million. But can mathematical truth survive when the entire financial establishment mobilizes to protect its exclusive power? The live stream indicator flashes red at exactly 2:25 p.m. Split screens show the Grand View Hotel conference room and Meridian Capital's marble boardroom. The viewer counter climbs rapidly. 500,000, 1.2 million, 2.3 million people worldwide tuning in to witness mathematical combat between Wall Street royalty and a hotel waitress. Elena's voice carries across both rooms with corporate authority. Today, we're comparing two risk assessments for our quantum computing acquisition. Dr. Harrison Blackwell, 25 years of experience, Harvard MBA, Princeton PhD, and Keisha Thompson, MIT mathematics background, currently employed at our venue. The format intensifies pressure deliberately. 8 minutes each for their mathematical models, 5-minute rebuttal period, live fact-checking by independent mathematical review panels, real-time audience challenges through social media feeds. Blackwell presents first, his confidence restored by familiar territory. Professional slides display traditional risk modeling with surgical precision. Linear projection curves tracking quantum computing advancement like smartphone evolution. Standard volatility calculations based on semiconductor industry patterns. Conservative 6% error margins protecting against market surprises. His delivery is flawless, polished, credible, comprehensive. Based on historical technology adoption data, we're projecting an 88% probability of success with ROI materialization within 18 months. These projections use time-tested methodologies that have guided successful investments for decades. The live fact-checking panel confirms his mathematics are sound using conventional analytical frameworks. Chat feeds fill with comments from financial professionals praising his thorough professional approach. Then, Keisha's turn arrives. She approaches the whiteboard without slides, without corporate polish, wearing her hotel uniform like a badge of authenticity. How many quantum computing breakthroughs happened while Dr. Blackwell was presenting? The pause electrifies both rooms. 3. Patent filings from MIT, IBM, and University of Toronto. His model assumes innovation happens on predictable schedules. Reality disagrees. She draws interconnected circles showing cascade effects, how quantum breakthroughs amplify each other exponentially rather than additively. Dr. Blackwell treats quantum advancement like traditional technology. Steady, manageable, predictable. But quantum computing doesn't follow smartphone rules. Her laptop displays real-time patent filing data, research publication acceleration curves, and breakthrough timing correlations that conventional models can't capture. I've served coffee to researchers from 7 quantum labs over 2 years. They're not competing. They're building on each other's work exponentially. That changes everything. The mathematical demonstration builds systematically. Network effects create winner-take-all scenarios. Breakthrough clusters trigger massive market accelerations. Regulatory responses lag behind technological reality when transformation happens faster than political adaptation. The first key line, pointing out the subtle flaw. Dr. Blackwell's mathematics are perfect for a world that stopped innovating in 2019. But quantum computing doesn't follow stock market rules. It follows network effects where each breakthrough makes the next breakthrough more probable, not less. The independent review panel starts running her calculations in real time. Chat feeds explode with verification requests from mathematics professors, quantum researchers, and venture capitalists. The mathematical validation moment. Keisha displays her model's historical accuracy. My framework predicted Google's quantum supremacy announcement within 2 weeks. IBM's error correction breakthrough within 1 month. The University of Toronto patent filing within 3 days. Dr. Blackwell's model would have missed all three by 6 months to 2 years. Live verification confirms her accuracy rates. 89% for breakthrough timing versus 23% for traditional models. The second key line, public reversal. The question isn't whether my mathematics is correct. The question is whether we can afford to ignore ground-level intelligence when making billion-dollar decisions. The room falls silent as implications sink in. Her analysis doesn't just correct Blackwell's formula. It reveals systematic blind spots in how the entire financial industry evaluates transformational technologies. Real-time stock market reactions begin appearing on screen. Quantum computing stocks fluctuate as investors process the competing analyses. Major investment firms start requesting copies of both methodologies. Blackwell's rebuttal, the third key line. Reluctant admission, his composure cracks as mathematical evidence mounts against his conventional approach. Miss Thompson's methodology is unconventional, but her mathematical modeling of network effects demonstrates sophistication that exceeds my initial assessment. The admission reverberates globally. In the hotel, staff erupt in cheers. The kitchen crew pounds pots and pans in celebration. Online chat feeds explode with shocked reactions. If her predictions about quantum cascade timing prove accurate, and real-time data suggests they might, then my risk assessment contains fundamental structural flaws. The complete status flip. Elena addresses the global audience directly. Based on this mathematical comparison, Meridian Capital is restructuring our quantum investment strategy immediately. Dr. Blackwell will continue leading traditional risk assessment. Ms. Thompson will consult on breakthrough probability modeling and cascade effect analysis. Crowd reaction. Neurochemical explosion. The hotel transforms into a spontaneous celebration. Housekeeping staff streams in from every floor. Security guards applaud openly. Local news crews capture scenes of working-class employees celebrating their colleagues' intellectual triumph. Online reactions cascade across every platform. Mathematical genius trends globally within minutes. Universities offer Keisha scholarship completions. Quantum computing researchers validate her network effect theories. Financial analysts debate whether conventional risk assessment models need complete overhaul. The mathematical validation climax. The independent review panel delivers their final verdict. Ms. Thompson's analytical framework represents the most innovative approach to quantum probability modeling we've evaluated. Her methodology should become the industry standard for evaluating exponential technologies. Michael Harrison III sits in stunned silence. Sterling stares at his phone as media coverage explodes. Dr. Wu approaches Keisha with professional respect. Would you consider co-authoring research papers on cascade effect modeling? The ultimate vindication. Elena's announcement caps the transformation. Effective immediately, the Thompson method becomes required analysis for all Meridian Capital technology investments. We're also funding completion of Miss Thompson's MIT degree program. But the most satisfying moment comes when Blackwell approaches privately. I owe you more than an apology. I've been using variations of your network thinking for months without knowing how to formalize it mathematically. Would you teach me? The live stream ends with 2.3 million viewers witnessing complete institutional transformation. Mathematical brilliance has not only survived but revolutionized how billion-dollar decisions get made. But what unexpected consequences await when genius refuses to stay hidden? As the live stream cameras power down, Elena's phone erupts with incoming calls. She returns from a frantic 10-minute conversation wearing an expression of complete astonishment. Keisha, you have 17 job offers. Quantum Capital wants you as their chief analytics officer at 7 figures annually. MIT is funding full PhD completion with guaranteed faculty position. Goldman Sachs just offered to create an entirely new department around your methodology. The room buzzes with excited murmurs, but the biggest surprise comes when Dr. Blackwell approaches Keisha privately, away from cameras and corporate politics. I owe you a confession, he says quietly. For the past 3 months, I've been incorporating intuitive variations of your network effect thinking into my models. I just didn't know how to formalize it mathematically. Would you be willing to collaborate rather than compete? The unexpected vulnerability transforms their entire dynamic. Blackwell isn't just admitting mathematical error, he's acknowledging that his expertise improved when it absorbed insights he couldn't initially recognize or credit. But Sterling delivers the most shocking announcement. Reading from his phone with visible discomfort, the board voted unanimously. Effective immediately, Meridian Capital establishes the Thompson method as required analysis for all technology investments above $50 million. All future quantum deals must include both traditional and breakthrough probability modeling. New evidence emerges. Dr. Wu reveals information that stuns everyone present. I've been tracking your accuracy for 8 months, Keisha. Every casual observation you made about our deals, every conversation you overheard, I fact-checked them independently. Your prediction accuracy rate is 94%, higher than our entire quantitative department combined. The judging panel changes stance. The independent mathematical review publishes their assessment globally. Ms. Thompson has demonstrated revolutionary analytical methodology that exposes critical blind spots in conventional financial modeling. Her cascade effect framework should become industry standard immediately. Ultimate validation. Elena makes the final announcement that cements institutional change. The Grandview Hotel will open a quantitative analysis consultancy. Ms. Thompson, would you accept the position as founding director? Keisha, still wearing her coffee-stained uniform, responds with perfect timing. I'll need to give my 2 weeks' notice first. The room erupts in laughter and applause. Mathematical genius has not only survived institutional prejudice, it's completely restructured how power recognizes and rewards intelligence. But what happens when the world realizes how many other brilliant minds remain hidden in plain sight? 6 months later, the financial world has transformed completely. The Meridian Quantum deal became 2024's most profitable tech acquisition, generating returns that exceeded every traditional projection. The Thompson method is now taught at 17 universities and implemented by major investment firms globally. Dr. Blackwell, being interviewed by Financial Times, delivers the reluctant admission that completes his character arc. I spent 25 years believing expertise only emerged from proper credentials. Keisha taught me that intelligence appears everywhere. We just have to be humble enough to recognize it. The question isn't who has the right background. The question is, who has the right insights? Public recognition. Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People features Keisha's story prominently. The first Thompson Method Fellowship launches at MIT with full corporate funding. The Grandview Hotel's consultancy now handles quantum analysis for Fortune 500 companies worldwide, generating millions in revenue from mathematical brilliance discovered in their own restaurant. Emotional closure. Keisha, now wearing business suits but keeping her original hotel name tag displayed prominently on her executive desk, addresses the camera directly. Every day, brilliant minds get dismissed because they don't match someone's idea of what expertise looks like. We don't need to change who we are. We need to change who gets listened to. The camera pans across her office walls, displaying both her MIT diploma and framed photos with hotel staff who supported her journey. Open ending. The universal message. The real question isn't whether you're smart enough for success. It's whether the world is ready to recognize intelligence wherever it appears. The screen shows Keisha's transformation from dismissed waitress to respected analyst, then cuts to present-day scenes of other service workers demonstrating unexpected expertise in their daily lives. How many Keisha Thompsons have you walked past today? How many solutions were sitting right in front of you waiting for someone to listen? Share this story if you believe genius deserves recognition regardless of where it's found. Subscribe for more stories of unexpected brilliance. Comment below. What's the most surprising place you've encountered wisdom? The final image shows Keisha's hotel name tag positioned next to her MIT diploma and Financial Analyst of the Year award. Sometimes the person who can save your company is the same person you almost ignored.